gentlemen, welcome to our forum, Malaysia Care Forum. I'm your moderator, Ms. Wani Khairani Muhammad Khadir,
and I'm Khairul Sabiti Alias, your second moderator.
Alright, today I would like to thank to all of you for attending our forum. As regarding to our issue, our topic today is cultural practices, artistic or sadistic. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, cultural practices, artistic or sadistic, will be very interesting topic to discuss about. The audience also can join us through Twitter with hashtag artistic or sadistic, and also WhatsApp to 012-345678. For those medium, we hope that we can share our opinion and ask for any question regarding to our Malaysia Care Forum. Before we move forward, let us define what is the cultural practices about. The cultural practices generally refer to the manifestations of a culture or subculture, especially in regard to the traditional and customary practices of all particular ethnics or other cultural group. First of all, I would like to introduce our panels, beginning with our first panel, Mr. Naim Azizan. And then for your information, he has received Award of Excellence in this UNESCO Asia Pacific Award for the Cultural Heritage Conservation 2017. And a big clap for him. And congratulations for your award. Okay, next, beside him we have Professor Dr. Granchon from Institute of Ethics University kita, the National University of Malaysia. How are you today, Professor?
I'm fine, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome, Professor. Okay, next, I would like to pass to our second moderator, Ms. UniSZA, to introduce our next panelist.
Thank you, Ms. Wani. Now let's proceed to our panels. That is on my left. At the end of the corner is the very experienced travel journalist, Ms. Azan Zainab. Welcome to our forum today.
Hello, thank you.
And last but not least, our panel is Tengku Badrisha Tengku Riza from Representative Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture of Malaysia. Thank you for your time.
So, let us first welcome Mr. Naim Azizan from Representative UNESCO to give some briefing about UNESCO and mandate of UNESCO regarding to our discussion.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wani. Okay, regarding UNESCO, UNESCO is a worldwide organization that focuses on education, scientific researches and cultural practices around the world. It ensures that every human deserves an equal treatment in every aspect. Regarding our topic, which is about culture, I would like to point out that UNESCO does put a lot of concerns regarding the culture, especially on the remote part of our planet. Because most tribes, they usually practices a lot more complicated culture, and sometimes those culture were inhuman. If the culture is too extreme or dangerous, our party will take part in the action, in the cultural practice, and if necessary, we will find a new way to make that particular practice is safe to do, or maybe just ban it to be done. Okay, I would like to talk a little bit about the mandate given to UNESCO. We at UNESCO, we have been trusted to observe and respond to the worldwide activities by over 190 countries. So such big responsibility have to be taken with full dedication and correct action. That is why we have separated several bureaus with respective field of work to increase the efficiency and ensure that we don't miss out even one event of the culture that happens in our world. Okay, back to our topic, I would like to share about the extremism that is being practiced by some tribes in our world. Okay, we do aware that our world is so big that we only explore only half of it. But there are several remote places that we have been explored, and we recognize that tribes there have been conducting number of practices that against the human rights. And for example, a tribe found along the Amazon River, they have these weird practices where they will pull out a tooth for a sign of a manliness. So every hunter, male hunter in the tribe will not have tooth. Okay. Another example of inhuman practices by that tribe is that they will sacrifice their deformed babies or handicapped one because they believe that is bad sign for the village, and they have to find a new village because of the deformed baby was born. So that is really against the human rights, where all people have the right to live regardless their physical condition. Okay, keep in mind that there are many other practices like this. As for the example before, it is their rights to practice their own beliefs, but it is really against the human rights. So it's a matter of life, and living in a great pain is not a good way to live. So we at UNESCO really put a lot of concern into things like this. Okay, regarding the human rights, the UN have listed over 30 human rights that makes all individuals have the equal over 30 rights to live how they want to live, regardless their age, their sex, their gender, their religion, language, and nationality. All humans are equal, and we are free to do our things and have rights to live in peace and free from slavery. Like the example before, it is totally against the human rights in freedom of thought and freedom from any kind of torture. We will not stand against all cultural practices that is against the human rights. So, okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Alright, thank you Mr. Naim Azizam for your sharing about our discussion. And let's move to our second panel, Professor Dr. Krang Chong from the Institute of Ethnic Studies KITA of the National University of Malaysia.
In my opinion, cultural practices are definitely artistic. I think cultural practices are artistic as it is what shapes a person's personality. And cultural practices make the world so interesting today. Despite of how sadistic cultural practices are, as mentioned by Mr. Naim, I think that cultural practices are beautiful as they are. Of course, I cannot deny that some cultural practices are cruel and inhuman as being considered by some people. However, cultural practices are what shapes a human. Culture provides an automatic sense of unity, belonging within a group, and allows us to understand better previous generations, and let us understand better the history of what we came from. It provides strength and pride of the people. Culture gives people a connection to certain social value, belief, religion, and customs. It provides meaning and purpose of life to people and help navigating people through some rough part of life. Even though some cultural practices can be harsh, but there are reasons why people perform it. For example, the Thaipusam festival performed or practiced by the Tamil community. Alright, Thaipusam is celebrated on the full moon in Tamil month of Thai, which is in January or February, and it commemorates the occasion when commemorates the occasion when Parvati gave Murugan a veil, which is a spear, so he could vanish the evil demon Sorapadman. For your information, Parvati is the Hindu goddess of fertility, love and devotion. She is also the goddess as well as of divine strength and power. And for Murugan, Murugan is the son of Parvati, which is the Hindu god of war. Kavadi Attam is a ceremony sacrifice and offering performed by the devotees during the worship of Murugan. It is often performed on Thaipusam. Before the Thaipusam festival, the devotees prepare themselves as early as 48 days before the festival. The preparations are: they have to shave their head, they have to follow a vegetarian diet and restrain from alcohol. They also have to be totally sexual abstinence. They have to bath in cold water. They have to sleep on the floor. Other than that, they also have to fast 24 hours complete before Thaipusam. On the day of the festival, the devotees undertake a pilgrimage along a set route while engaging in various acts of devotion, notably carrying various types of kavadi. The most spectacular practice is the Vel Kavadi, essentially a portable altar up to 2 meters tall. It was decorated with peacock feathers, and the kavadi, which can be as heavy as 80 kilograms, is attached to the devotees through 108 veils and pierced into the skin on the chest and their back. Kavadi Attam is usually performed on behalf of a loved one who is in need of healing or as a means of balancing a spiritual debt. Even though this cultural practice is quite harsh, it brings benefit to the devotees. They actually claim that by performing Kavadi Attam, it enabled them to reach a certain state of mind to endure the pain. In conclusion, despite cultural practices can be cruel sometimes, but it was done with the devotees' willing. As long as it is performed safely and it doesn't bring permanent harm to the devotees and do not cause the devotees to lose their life, it should be continuously practiced by the devotees. Thus, I think cultural practices are artistic. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for your information.
Now let's proceed with our third panel, that is Miss Azan Zainal. Maybe you can share a little bit about your experience when you travel around the world.
Thank you, UniSZA. Okay, I will share a little bit of my experience as a travel journalist, because as a travel journalist, honestly, I'm always interested in cultural practices, especially when I'm always travel abroad and I see a lot of cultural practices in different countries with different tribes and people. So there's a lot that I learned actually, and one of the countries that have the most significant cultural practices is Indonesia. Surprisingly, it's just near us. And as for Indonesia, if I'm not mistaken, the Dani tribe, they actually practice cutting their own fingertips, especially during if there's someone dead, especially during for their own family members, they will cut off their fingertips, and usually this practice will done by the women of the tribe. And before they amputated their fingertips, they will tie it about 30 minutes just to make it numb, and they don't even use anesthetic, so it must be pain. Yeah? It must be really painful. So and they just cut it off. After 30 minutes, they just cut it off, and after they were amputated, they will burn the new fingertip, just so it will become a scar and form a new tissue. It will form a new tissue and become a scar. So yeah, new fingertips. Just shorter. Okay, and then the Toraja people are also in Indonesia. But for this tribe, it's quite amusing actually because they lived with the dad. I mean, after the death of the family members, they buried it, right? And then they actually dig out it again. They just dig out the corpse and they take it out and they even dress the dad with special attire. And after that, they will parade the corpse around the village. It's like, for them, they believe that this is an act of returning home for the dad. It's like, okay, you're a dad, and okay, let's go home. Let's go back home. Something like that. And one of the most, I think, the most gruesome among my experience as a travel journalist is when I visited at Venezuela and I encountered the Yanomamo tribes. They actually practice Indo-cannibalism, and it's really terrifying sight actually, and it leaves the most impression to me because they not Indo-cannibalism is quite like it's something like cannibalism, but it's a little bit different because they only eat the flesh of their own tribe after the death, and they will eat the flesh. So after they consume the flesh of their own members or tribe, there must be some leftover, right? And that leftover they will wrap it with the leaves, and the leaves after they wrap it and they will put it in at a place far away, a little bit far away from their own living space, and they will leave it around like 30 days to 40 days, and let the insects pick at it. I mean, after the insect pick at it, after 30 days, 40 days, and they will come back and pick up the bones. And they will come back and pick up the bones, and they will pulverize the bones. And after that, the ashes from the bone, they will add it into a soup. It's a banana soup actually, and this is the most traumatic event for me actually because I personally accidentally ate it, and gosh, oh,
That was from
yes.
the experience.
Actually, after I knew that the ingredient of the soup that I ate, I vomit right away because come on, you eat the ash from the bones. Oh my god. Wow. Until today, whenever I want to eat a soup, I will ask that person, what ingredient are you putting in it? So yeah, that's my experience. So I think cultural practice can be artistic, yes, but at the same time, it was sadistic. So, thank you.
It was really such a thrilling time you had over there. I hope you're okay now. Now let's move to our next panel. Before we open the Q&A session, our next panel is Ms. Tengku Patricia, and she will discuss with us about her opinion on the behalf of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture of Malaysia.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Iswa, for giving me the opportunity to discuss about culture. Is it artistic or sadistic? My name is Tengku Patricia binti Tengku Riza, and I am Ministry of Tourism and Culture in Malaysia. When they practice with their culture, they want to people know about their identity and pride in their culture, and they also want to show the world that their culture still exists and be practiced to their until their children. And I can give you some of example that in China they have a Bang Feet. Bang Feet started in Song Dynasty, and it was banned in 1911, but in rural area it's banned in 1939. But what I can say about Bang Feet is it want to show the women bound their feet. They want to show their beauty and represent them as a good wife for their husband.
have a certain size of feet. For example, for golden feet, it was 3 inches feet size, and for 4 inches feet size is called silver lotus feet, and more than that it was called as iron lotus feet. That was the Hmong feet is very unique culture in China, but now they already ban it. Next, it's also when they have their culture, they want to promote their own unique and cultural activities to all ethnic groups and level of society in the world. I, as Ministry of Tourism and Culture, I do a research and documentary about it, and this culture can be a benefit to the country also, because when people know about the culture, they tend to come to the country and look what the unique about the culture. So for the economy, they give a good benefits. That's all that I can say. Thank you.
Alright guys, now we have come to question and answer session. We will be open question and answer sessions on via Twitter with hashtag artistic or sadistic, or you can call us on 012-345-6789. Thank you.
A few moments later.
Hello, I'm Sarah from Johor. My question to the representative of UNESCO is there any sort of dangerous or inhumane cultural practice in Malaysia? Can you please tell us about it? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sarah, for the question. Okay, is there any sort of dangerous culture in Malaysia? So we UNESCO, we have recognized that Malaysia is a very peaceful country, full of races and also few tribes in especially in the Sabah and Sarawak. But regarding to dangerous cultural practice, I don't think there is one, because there are cultural practice, but it is not suitable to be said as dangerous, because they have their uniqueness in their own way, but not dangerous. It still can be done and still applicable to the tribe members. I think that's answer your question. Okay.
So we have come to the end of our show.
So we would like to thank you to all our panels and our audience for attending our forum today.
And stay tuned for our next forum. We will discuss more interesting topics for the next week.
So see you again next week. Malaysia care.